Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. A new kind of parade will take place in Lakeville, and a new hardware business is coming to Oxford.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. Boaters, get ready to start your engines. Lakeville Lake property owners have organized the very first Lakeville Lakes Boat Parade, scheduled for Saturday, July 2nd at noon. Organizers Chuck Sargent, Sue Weatherhead, and Paul Woodring would like anyone with a power boat to join the fun. The boat should be equipped and decorated in a theme of Happy Birthday America. Pre-registered entries will be judged for creativity and overall decoration. The boat parade will be accompanied by a patriotic music provided by local musicians. For more information, send an email to lakelife627@gmail.com or contact the Addison Township Hall. Sounds like fun.
Head of the Lone Ranger Festival Posse, Rod Charles, received a $4,000 check for the Lone Ranger event presented by the Oxford School Superintendent Tim Throne. The donation came from proceeds raised at the high school's first ever Hoopla event, showcasing two alumni athletes, Dave Rayner and Zach Line, who went on to play in Major League Football. The donation will defray some of the costs associated with the August 6th Lone Ranger Parade and Festival. The Hoopla, sponsored by the school district, was a new event with two opposing basketball teams consisting of teachers, administrators, and the local athletes. Coaches for the event were Zach Line and Dave Rayner. In addition, athletes participated in a series of wacky contests requiring the players to toss hula hoops around pop bottles, completing puzzles, and eating cookies without using their hands. The final score? It was a tie. Everyone agreed the Lone Ranger organization, who relies solely on donations, was the definite winner.
17,000 square foot building that housed Tom's Hardware for 44 years was recently sold to Marv Stone of Shelby Township and owner of the Stone's Ace Hardware. Stone currently operates 4 other stores in Clinton, Richmond, Romeo, and Orion Townships. Stone's 5th location in Oxford is slated to open sometime in September 2016. Welcome on board.
Noda has some new wheels. The new van is specifically designed for wheelchair access. Noda Director Lynn Gustafson is excited to announce that 18 vehicles are now available for low-cost transportation of senior citizens, disabled, and low-income residents who live in the Oxford, Addison, and Lake Orion Townships areas. Services are also provided for citizens living in the village of Oxford and Leonard.
Oxford Elementary held their annual field day with all kinds of wild and wacky games, and believe it or not, it was one of those rare days when the outdoor temperature was in the low 80s. What better way to cool down? Call in the Oxford Fire Department to water down the kids with hoses. Kids were a little bit soggy, but they say they had a great time.
Beware Oxford, there have been 2 men trying to break into homes in the area. One of the men, however, has been caught, but the other one's still on the loose. Officers were sent to a South Washington Street address on a complaint of someone attempting to jimmy the apartment door open. When the would-be burglars realized the renter was home and he ran away from the building, or they both did. Police found one of the suspects, who they took into custody. However, they are still looking for the second suspect. So if anybody knows anything about that, give the Oxford Police a call.
A Warren man who was visiting his ex-girlfriend in Oxford got into a drunken argument with the woman's 22-year-old daughter. Officers tried to seat the man into the girlfriend's car so he could be taken home. During the process, the man began to struggle with the officer, slamming the policeman's hand against the door frame, injuring the officer's thumb. The man was then arrested for resisting arrest and assaulting a police officer. The injured officer was taken to a local hospital, and the arrested man was taken to the Oakland County Jail.
And if you want to learn more about these stories and others, stop by your local store and pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, catch us right here on Charter Channel 191 and AT&T Channel 99.
Coming up next on OCTV, Oxford Sports with Jamie Hughes, and also catch Oxford School News with John Ochins, and don't miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles, and this is Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, it might be small, but it's a very big deal. A lens built from light-warping metamaterials is thinner than the waves of light that it focuses. In a normal lens, a curved glass surface a few millimeters or even centimeters thick redirects light rays to a common focal point. To improve the image, you have to keep adding glass layers. Metamaterials, by contrast, can bend light toward a common point using structures that are as small or smaller than the wavelengths of the light waves themselves. Our lens is flat, but I call it virtual curvature, says Reza Khorajaninejad, who designed the new lens with a team at Harvard University. Using a beam of electrons, the team carved nanofin, 600 nanometer tall blocks that together resemble the world's smallest Stonehenge out of a block of titanium dioxide. Across that lens, the nanofins are rotated at different angles to catch the polarized light, which lets them pull light rays together. They tested 3 lenses tuned to red, green, and violet light. Each could focus light more sharply than a 55 millimeter thick Nikon microscope lens with similar optical properties. The next step? To expand the lens's color range, and we can't wait. And in space, the expansion of the universe is getting out of hand. According to a recent measurement by a Nobel Prize-winning team, space is stretching 9% faster than we think it should be, yanking distant galaxies away from us at a rate that defies explanation. This accelerating expansion of the universe is usually explained by invoking a mysterious substance called dark energy. But either our observations are wrong or dark energy isn't enough to explain the situation. Maybe something even stranger is lurking in the cosmos. This is really an end-to-end test of our understanding of the universe, says Adam Rice of the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore, Maryland. A paper detailing the conflict reported on the preprint server ArxVic Viv in April by Rice and his colleagues has now been accepted by the Astrophysical Journal. It reveals the disagreement between the 2 best methods we have of measuring the expansion of the universe. One method looks at dimples in the cosmic microwave background, or CMB, a glow left behind by the hot, soupy universe just a few 100,000 years after the Big Bang. Space-based observatories like WMAP and Planck have measured small fluctuations in temperature in the CMB. Assuming we understand the physics at play, the size of these fluctuations should let us calculate how quickly the universe was expanding when the universe began some 13.7 billion years ago. The other method practiced by Rice and his colleagues measures how distant galaxies appear to recede from us as the universe expands, using stars and supernovae of known brightness to gauge the distance to those galaxies. These measurements led to the discovery of dark energy and earned Rice and 2 other physicists a Nobel Prize in 2011. The trouble comes when we compare the 2 estimates. They don't agree, Rice says. Hints of this problem have been brewing since 2011, and the most recent results have only made the problem worse. Still, we could do away with the issue if one of the 2 benchmark measurements is just a little bit wrong, says David Spergel of Princeton University in New Jersey. Right now, I think the discrepancy is at the level of, well, this is interesting, it's worth thinking about. He says, but it's not yet, let's panic, we know that our current model must be wrong. The measurements both of the ancient universe and the present day will get more accurate, which could expose a systematic effect that is tricking us into seeing a conflict where there isn't one. For example, Rice's modern measurements rest on accurately knowing the distance to nearby pulsing stars. The European Space Agency's Gaia mission, which is working to measure the distance to 1 billion Milky Way stars, should make these benchmark measures more precise. The rate of expansion soon after the Big Bang might also be a little off if we aren't correctly measuring the sizes of fluctuations in the cosmic microwave background. By looking at the microwave background in polarized light, observatories like the South Pole Telescope in Antarctica and the upcoming Simons Observatory in Chile might affect this. The results are pretty clear right now, Spergel says. In a year or 2, we will be better. Either the discrepancy will start to go away as data improves, or it will turn out to be the signature of new physics. The situation has many physicists, including Rice, excited. It could mean that dark energy is growing denser over time and the universe will eventually end up in a catastrophic big rip. It could mean Einstein was wrong, requiring changes to his well-tested theory of relativity. Or it could invoke a shady new particle secretly pulling the universe's strings. Stay tuned for updates in the future. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back after this.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. It's the time of year for ceremony and awards. One of the most coveted in these parts is the Oxford Cup. Juniors, seniors, and faculty of Oxford High pick a boy and girl who show a proficiency in scholarship, friendly social qualities, well-balanced physical development, and superior school citizenship. It used to be that only one was given out. Back in 2012, they decided to give one to a male and female. The winners this year, Jennifer Brasington and Alexander Hrysopoulos. Jennifer wants to be a nurse practitioner or nurse anesthetist. Alexander has his sights set on computer science. Congratulations, Jennifer and Alexander. It was hoopla time at OHS, and it was a successful one. Danny Stublinski was one of the organizers.
We had over 500 tickets sold, and every person that attended had a smile on their face from my perspective. The coaches were a blast. You could tell that they were alumni and they felt at home. We had Dave Rayner, who's played on 11 NFL teams as a kicker, as well as Zach Line, who currently plays for the Minnesota Vikings, and they were just glowing. They were so enjoyable and energetic. One of the fun parts was Zach's big play of the game. He drew a basketball hoop with a basketball, and that was his strategy to win, was just to get the ball in the hoop.
Wow, but financially it was a big success, right?
Yes, we were thankfully able to donate $4,000 to the Lone Ranger Festival.
One of the summertime activities coming up for kids is Camp Invention. OES teacher Shannon Hay is in charge.
Well, Camp Invention is a hands-on inquiry-based summer camp that lasts a week where students upcycle items, they reuse things that would be garbage or recycling, and they invent things. We also take items apart and learn how they work and repurpose them into other things. It is June 20th to June 24th, and it's here at Oxford Elementary.
Any particular age group?
It's for kids who are going into kindergarten through kids going into 6th grade. And then we have middle schoolers and high schoolers that volunteer and facilitate. It's taught by teachers. We also have the summer food program is actually at OES, so kids can eat breakfast and lunch for free, which is great. And there's games, and it's my first year doing it, but it's been in the district for several years, and the kids love it. They keep coming back. So
Now, where do they register for it?
there's campinvention.org is the website, and we're really in need still of some high school volunteers. They get 40 hours of like NHS if they're an honor society student, or if they need it for college applications, we write letters of recommendation.
And a reminder that the free summer food program will go from June 20th to August 26th. That will be at the Oxford Early Learning Center. Breakfast is from 8 to 9:30. Lunch is served from 11:15 until 12:30 p.m. This is for folks 18 years of age and younger, and people up to age 26 who are in a program for the mentally or physically disabled. It was a special day for Principal Chad Boyd over at Daniel Axford. As a way to raise money for the new playground equipment, the kids were allowed to duct tape him to the wall for $5 apiece. Here's how it went.
So what's going to happen here is we're going to get it started, and each student who's participating paid $5 per piece of duct tape, and in about 20 minutes they'll be coming one by one and helping duct tape Mr. Boyd to the wall until there's nothing left but his head and his feet. And then we're going to have the 3 highest grossing classroom teachers pie him in the face, And at the very end, we're gonna pull the crates away to see if he stays.
All right, so when you were studying for your master's degree, what class prepared you for this?
I don't know, maybe one of those first few classes that you just had to take.
Principle 101? Okay, so I see you looking very carefully at each and every one of these kids as they come up here. Are you remembering?
Remembering everyone.
Hey, Brad out at Clear Lake tells me you practice this at parties. Is that
Brad makes up a lot of things.
About 500 more to go. I heard your wife was saying finally I'm going to let out your door.
That's quite possible.
You're the principal's daughter, right? Yeah. So is this something you've been wanting to do for a long time? Or what? Yeah. Oh, do you feel much better now? All right. Over the last year and a half, the committee has raised over $24,000 for the playgrounds at Daniel Axford and Oxford Elementary. That's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Back with you on Oxford News this week, time for Oxford Sports. And yes, it is getting to be a wrap down for the school sports. We'll be trying to cover some of the local sports with softball, baseball, and the summer leagues. But Oxford took down Rochester Adams in a softball match 11-3. 12 noon game. Hannah Vachon started the game, got the win, pitching 4 innings. She struck out 5, allowed 2 hits and 2 walks. The 0 earned runs. Caitlin Bean then chipped in the last 3 innings. She struck out 3, allowed 3 hits, 3 walks. Chloe Allen went 2 for 5 with 1 RBI. Mackenzie Miller went 3 for 5 with an RBI. Caitlin Bean went 1 for 5 with 3 RBIs. Hannah Vachon took 1 and 3. Logan Medell had an RBI. Alex Brown went 2 and 3. 2 RBIs. Hey, a lot of statistics. It was a big score. Again, Maddie Morris had an RBI. Then it was on to those foes later in the afternoon. Them darn Dragons, the Lake Orion Dragons, took it to our Cats 5-4 in a match that you'll see right here. I should say a game that you'll see here on OCTV. You're going to want to watch it if you're a Lake Orion fan or Oxford fan. Hannah Vachon got the loss on the mound, pitching 4 2/3 innings. She had 5 strikeouts, allowed 7 hits, 3 walks, 4 earned runs. Caitlin Bean finished out the game for 1 strikeout, allowed 1 hit, 2 walks, and Chloe Allen went 1 for 3, 1 RBI. Hannah Vachon 1 and 3. Alex Brown went 2 and 2 with a double. Maddie Dingus went 1 and 3 and 1 RBI. Still not enough to get past them Dragons. They pick up the victory there again, 5-4. Jumping out to the track field. We don't talk about this enough, but hey, we need to talk about it right now. Connor Bandal finished first place in shot and discus for the 2nd year in a row. First time in Michigan history that to ever happen. Jacob Lewinsky finished 9th place on the pole vault, and Gabe Hogan finished 15th place in the 3,200-meter run. Congratulations to those athletes. Again, they don't get enough mention out there on the track and field. Also, we want to thank our friends from Lake Orion TV sending us some footage, track and field footage. Hopefully you'll catch some of it right here. Check it out. We want to thank our friends at Lake Orion TV. Just a reminder, we have been talking about this over the last few weeks. You really can't save any money, but just a reminder to parents in the upcoming season. Fall will be here before you know it. If you have a student athlete trying out for any of the 7 through 12 sports, Michigan Athletic Association requires all students to take a physical. You can get a physical and get it there and make sure not to wait to the last minute. Many places to check that out, maybe McLaren Healthcare Facility or any one of your local doctor's offices, you definitely want to make sure you get that physical. Check out their website, the Oxford website. It'll tell you more about where you can get physicals, keep up with the student schedules, sports scores, and everything you need to know about sports. oxfordathletics.org. That is their website. Also, they have a list of summer activities. So if you have that person sitting on the couch, maybe not getting out, not participating, go to their website. There's going to be a list of summer activities that any one of your young people can participate in. oxfordathletics.org, one word. While you're on the web, I urge you always to check our website out, occtv.org. Hit the programs tab, hit YouTube, whatever you choose to watch. You can catch it on your computer, iPad, or phone. We are there on demand. Every program we do, every one, coming to you right out of your personal device. Catch all the sports on Saturday and Sundays between 1 and 6. Again, we are going to be out there this summer catching some of the summer softball, baseball, and Little League games. So if you know one that you want us to cover, contact our office here at Oxford Community Television. We'll be out there to check it out. OCCTV.org. Again, that's the website for us. That's going to wrap it. I want to thank Kyle Snage back there doing it well all the time. Until next week, I'm Jamie Hughes for Sports. See ya.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company says it's taking aim at German luxury cars, not with its upscale Lincoln brand, but with the new Fusion Sport sedan. Ford said June 9th this 2017 Fusion Sport's 2.7-liter twin-turbocharged EcoBoost engine produces 380 pounds-feet of peak torque, which it noted is more than the Porsche 911 Carrera S, Mercedes-Benz E400 3.0-liter turbo, and BMW 535i. The Fusion Sport, which includes all-wheel drive as standard, starts at $34,350, including shipping, which is $11,355 more than the base Fusion, but at least $20,000 less than any of the German cars it listed. It goes on sale this summer with an estimated fuel economy of 17 miles per gallon city and 26 highway. The Fusion Sport is rated at 325 horsepower, which makes it the most powerful mass-market mid-size car in the U.S. It beats the BMW, but lags the Porsche and the Mercedes. The 2017 Fusion Sport generated 24% more horsepower and 53% more torque than the last Fusion Sport Ford sold in the 2012 model year. And at BMW, the Los Angeles Police Department now has 100 BMW i3s on the streets in the City of Angels. The police department began field tests in September of 2015. The i3 was tested alongside other EVs, but the LAPD ultimately accepted the BMW's bid. The i3s will be leased for 3 years for $387 a month each, a BMW spokesman said. The electric cars will serve as the LAPD's non-emergency fleet vehicles, in which they will be used as transportation vehicles for officers and community outreach initiatives. The performance and technical capabilities, such as the BMW i3's acceleration and its Connect Drive integration, are perfectly suited to transform the future mobility of the Los Angeles Police Department while also reducing their carbon footprint, said Ludwig Willisch, CEO of BMW North America. The LAPD's fleet management system will be integrated into BMW's software data system, allowing the LAPD, that is, to electronically receive vehicle data for fleet maintenance. BMW's network of i-centers will be available for serving the fleet, the company said. BMW is also designing a web tool that will allow LAPD to track the i3s in real time. A firm called Greenlots will supply 100 level 2 chargers and 4 DC fast chargers to the LAPD. Electrifying news. And in Canada, General Motors' Canadian unit was to announce on June 10th that it would hire up to 1,000 engineers, the Globe and Mail newspaper said late Tuesday, citing sources. The company had a media event scheduled for Friday at its engineering center in Oshawa, Ontario. Spokeswoman Adria McKenzie declined to say what would be announced. While there is speculation about the news, GM Canada is looking forward to sharing the news during the event, she said in an email. The Globe and Mail said Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was expected to attend the event along with Ontario Premier Kathleen Wynne. The Prime Minister's office did not immediately comment, but a spokesman for the Premier confirmed she would be there. With the future of its manufacturing sites unclear, GM Canada has been expanding R&D in recent years, with the Oshawa facility part of a push to develop self-driving vehicles. In April of 2015, GM said it was hiring 100 software engineers in Canada. Meanwhile, its consolidated assembly line, one of 2 remaining GM assembly lines in Oshawa, has been on the brink of closure since 2008. Last August, GM said it would keep the line operating until 2017, the latest in a string of extensions. The consolidated line produces the Chevrolet Equinox. The Flex line, GM's other Oshawa line, produces the Chevrolet Impala, Buick Regal, Chevrolet Camaro, and the Cadillac XTS. And at Toyota Motor Corporation asked owners of 2014 to 2016 Lexus luxury vehicles in the U.S. to go to dealerships to fix a computer issue that can disable navigation, audio, and climate control systems. The action also includes the 2016 Toyota Land Cruiser SUVs, according to company spokeswoman Cindy Knight. The microcomputer that runs several electronic functions can be disabled by data broadcast via high-definition radio by a weather and traffic service provider, she said, without identifying that supplier. Knight said that Toyota doesn't know yet how many vehicles or what regions are affected. Knight said that in some situations the faulty data can cause the center display in the dashboard to stop and then restart repeatedly. Toyota stopped the broadcasting of the defective data on Tuesday night, Knight said. For vehicles which already have the data, the affected computer must undergo a forced reset, she said. Well, that's all for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to your weekly calendar of events, where we feature your weekly calendar of local Oxford and Addison community events, including charity special fundraisers and general community information. If you or your organization would like help to get your message out to the public, contact us for detailed information at our studio phone number at 248-628-9658, or you can go to our website at occtv.org. The Oakland County Board of Commissioners announced a free gun lock giveaway in recognition of a firearm safety program that began Friday, June 5th. You can pick up your free firearm trigger lock at the following location: the Oxford Village Police Station, 22 Burdick Street in Oxford, the Oakland County Substation, Dunlop Road, Oxford Township, behind the Township Hall, and at the Addison Township Oakland County Sheriff's Substation located in Lakeville. The Oxford Township Parks and Recreation is looking for volunteers to help with this year's Seymour Lake celebration. The celebration is slated for July 8th, 9th, and 10th, and if you would like to donate your time and talents to this great community event, just call 248-628-1720. Friday, June 24th, Science Alive is brought to you by your local Oxford Library. Registration is required for this one. Kids will experience up-close interactions with unusual animals at this hands-on animal science program. Your child will explore the animal kingdom, including jumping kangaroos, flying birds, swimming crocodiles, and more. And no, they won't be required to swim with the crocodiles. This is kids-only event, and they must be able to attend without a permit too, probably. There are reserved time slots for your child for his age group, so be sure to call the library for information and registration. That number is 248-628-3034. If you own a local business, organization, or local resident wishing to show your support for our local Oxford school sports, music concerts, or any of the many programs broadcast by our TV station, you could become a sponsor or an underwriter of OCTV. A promotional television spot can be created just for you and recognition given to you by our sports announcers during this special event. It's easy and it's really quite inexpensive. For more information, contact our TV station manager, Bill Service, at 248-628-9658. That number again, 248-628-9658. Or you can send a message of interest to Bill's email address, manager@occtv.org. Now, we at Oxford Community Television would like our television viewing public to learn more about your club or organization's special upcoming event or charity. So, if you would like to get your special event mentioned on our television show, call us at 248-628-9658, or again, you can go to our website, occtv.org. Just one final reminder, you can locate our OCTV program schedule by going to our website, occtv.org, and clicking on Schedule. There you will find a list of OCTV broadcast programs, dates, and times. One program I highly recommend is Bill Service, who always has interesting local stories and interviews on our Community Access program. Just check it out. This is Oxford Community Television, OCTV. I'm your host, Elgin Nichols. We invite you to join us again for the next segment of your weekly calendar of events.